Hi everybody, it's Ed Lyons from Flint Partners Optometrists and Ed Lyons Sports Vision, and I've been invited by Nicola to do a short video on Vision Training Kit 3, which is a prize in tomorrow's CPSA Quiz. So one of the most common questions that I received during the lockdown period was, what can I do to improve my eyes or keep them tuned up for when I return to shooting? And whilst shotgun shooters have always been interested in the latest cartridge or choke or coloured lens, this showed me that more people are perhaps becoming more aware of how they can actually enhance their own personal performance rather than just relying on purchasing more passive kit. So it's important to note that although having perfect eyes doesn't make the perfect shooter, that vision and shooting are intrinsically linked. So the accuracy with how you see this target dictates every subsequent move as to how you interact with it. And the coordination and the synchronicity of your eye muscle system can actually become a determinant factor in how repeatable that first dead pair becomes. Now, since 2010, I've examined the eyes of over 1,500 shotgun shooters, from amateurs to Olympic medalists and world champions, and without exception, all of the highest performing individuals have got superlative visual skills. So, very much in brief, when we're talking about our visual system, the ability of our eyes to resolve detail is called our visual acuity. And it's interesting to note that our overall VA is often enhanced when we've got both eyes open, as the signal to the visual cortex in the brain might be boosted. And this is a phenomenon called binocular summation. Our ability to keep our eyes working together is called our fusional reserves. Now, the high achievers which were mentioned before, they might need to wear glasses or contact lenses to achieve that maximum VA, but there are also other visual skills that they might exhibit which are not necessarily enhanceable through glasses or contact lenses. Now, VA is typically expressed as a set of numbers such as 66, or as commonly used in the US, 2020, and these numbers equate to a particular size letter on an optometric test chart here, which is viewed at a set distance with a control level of illumination. Now normally it's black on white, but I've just changed it round so it's visible. Now a VA of 66 or 2020 can be absolutely fine for normal life, but for the competitive shooter, 2020 is not all that impressive, as the top shots can typically resolve at far higher levels of detail than this. And the 2020 line is actually the one that's underlined in red there. Now, target presentations can also present further visual challenges through the use of background, clay, colour and speed and that sort of thing, and ambient light levels are also a potentially unpredictable factor. So now that we know about VA, it can be a useful analogy to compare our eyes to two video cameras, each of which is constantly collecting both static and dynamic information. And if we're lucky, these two video cameras might be able to resolve in HD because any refractive errors, so any prescriptions, etc. have been accurately corrected, and those neuro-ophthalmological pathways have developed to a high level. Now, sometimes we might have one HD eye and one with lower resolution, and this can be a cause of eye dominance problems, particularly as we get older. A particular case in point you might have seen on my post about cataract the other day. And in some cases, both eyes may only be able to achieve low levels of VA. Now, in order to move these cameras around, we've got 6 pairs of muscles, some of which have got primary, secondary, and even tertiary actions. So we've got muscles for lateral movement, vertical movement, and there are also elements of rotation, which are typically linked to gaze stabilisation and balance, not to mention those tiny little muscles that are involved with helping us to focus. And it's this muscular system that we can work on at home. Now, like any muscle system in your body, your eyes can get affected by stress, tiredness, hormone levels, blood sugar, medication, and even our lateral gaze angle, which is where the eyes are looking at their limits of their movement. It's important to note that eye muscle efficiency is really vital for gun fits, and it's an almost completely overlooked consideration when measuring eye dominance. And your eye muscle efficiency can actually be a performance limiter for those of us who've got a low ability to fuse the images from each eye. Now, this ability to fuse or not fuse the separate images is a key factor in establishing true binocular vision. And when each eye is locked onto the same target, other objects either in front or behind that target might be double. And this is called physiological diplopia. And this is why you might see two barrels when looking hard at the target with a mounted gun. And this is totally normal. It just means that your eyes are working correctly. It does not indicate an eye dominance problem, as is commonly thought. And a really simple and useful piece of information for people to understand this picture is to appreciate that the barrel you see on the left is the one your right eye sees, and vice versa. Unfortunately, there are plenty of ways that a motivated shooter can tune up some of the eye muscles that we've talked about and learn how to control their eyes more effectively in space. So I've produced 3 entry-level kits, the exercises in which have been specially selected to help shooters to maximise their visual potential at home, and they are available on my www.ed-lions.com website. So the following deceptively simple products are included alongside your training booklet, which has lots and lots of information in, a bit of anatomy and lots of exercises to do. So you've got a Brock string. So a Brock string is a vital tool for the two-eyed shooter. And the Brock string can assist the user to develop better coordination over their eyes and ensure both eyes are pointing in the same position in space at the same time. And it's an excellent tool for eye muscle, depth perception and anti-suppression training. And the Brock string can also help some shooters overcome certain types of eye dominance problems, although by no means is it an eye dominance cure. Now, the one in the kit has 6 focusing beads and is 20 feet long, so you can develop a full level of control at a much greater distance than the sort of regular 2 or 3 feet ones. So, how do you use it? Well, you're going to need to sit or stand in a comfortable position with the string tied onto a static object in front of you or held by a training partner. So we want you to hold the string to the tip of your nose like this, and we're going to just place one single bead where it's comfy to look at, maybe sort of a foot and a half away, and then you're going to shove all the other beads to the end. So when you are staring at the bead, it should appear clear and single. Now if you see 2 beads, you need to move it further away. Now if you're using your 2 eyes correctly, it should seem as though there are 2 strings going into the bead and 2 strings exiting the bead, thus forming an X. And this is the physiological diplopia effect we talked about earlier, and it is totally normal. If you close your right eye when you're doing it, the string on the left will disappear, and if you close your left one, the string on the right disappears. So now you know which barrel you should be more aware of when shooting if you do see 2 barrels, and not everybody does. Now, if you can't actually make that X, take a few blinks, wiggle the string around a little bit, move the bead a little bit further away or a little bit closer until you see that X as described. Now if you see 2 beads and 2 strings, or if the X appears to be in front or behind that bead, your eyes aren't pointing where you actually think they are, and that's pair lost. Now once you can create this X, we're going to add more beads, we're going to add bigger distances and more distracting features such as moving your head, moving the string, and then getting into shooting position. Because this places different stresses on your eye muscles than looking straight ahead, and there are a couple of pages worth of exercises in the booklet for you to perform. Now if you can't see the X, it might indicate that one of your eyes is being suppressed, turned off, and this could be a long-standing or an acute issue. And in this case, an eye examination is recommended just to check everything out. Next thing we have are some fusion cards. Now fusion cards can help to develop enhanced depth perception and spatial awareness by training your convergence, which is your inward movement. And we want to try and do this without any suppression of either eye. So what we're going to get you to do is to hold the Lifesaver card about 40 to 50 centimetres away, and you've got to hold a pencil on the card between the red and green circles at the bottom. Now I want you to look at the tip of the pen and keep it single. As you move it slowly towards your nose, then the 2 circles will break apart and you might see 4 circles form. And we want to turn these into a 3rd circle in the middle. The 3rd circle should not be either the sort of bluey red or green, but it should be a mixture of the 2, and the middle circle should appear to be floating towards you. Now once you've fused that 3rd circle, we're going to make small lateral and vertical movements with the head and aim to sort of contain and maintain this fusion that we've created. Now if the middle circle appears totally green, then the centre of your left eye is being suppressed, and if it looks fully red, the right eye is being turned off. You might find you can actually swap between the two, but what we want to be able to create is that third circle, which is a mixture of the colours. And the words clear these letters should be clear with all the letters present. Now, once you've accomplished that, there are further exercises to perform again in the book. Now, finally, we've got heart charts. Now, heart charts might help to train our accommodative system, which is the ability to change focus from distance to near. And specifically, heart charts can help to improve your accommodative facility in some cases, which is the ability to increase and decrease your focusing on demand. Now, some people focus too much and too hard and they can't relax, and others focus too little and experience blurry vision for close tasks. This happens normally because our focusing system reduces in its efficiency in our mid-40s. So this exercise might not actually be possible without corrective lenses. But the heart chart can also be used to train your eye movements called saccades. Now, saccades are rapid ballistic movements of the eyes that abruptly change the point of fixation. Now, they range in amplitude from the small movements made whilst reading, for example, to the much larger movements made when acquiring and locking onto a target. Now, to perform the first heart chart exercise, you're going to begin with the bigger chart, which you can see just about there, and that's going to be put around about sort of 3 meters away. Now, we're going to begin with the bigger size on both of these exercises, and then we're going to aim to move on to the smaller ones once we've completed them. So we're going to put that large chart about 3 meters away as we just saw, and we're going to hold the small chart in a comfortable reading position, maybe sort of a foot and a half away. We're going to get you to read the first letter on the distance chart, and then the first letter on the near chart, reading them out aloud. You're then going to go to the second letter on the distance chart and the second letter on the reading chart, and back and forth until all of the charts are complete. Then we want you to ask a training partner to maybe time how quickly you can complete a full transition through the entire cycle without making an error, and we want you to note that down. Complete 5 cycles and then move that near chart a third closer than it was and repeat, and then a third closer still and repeat. The aim for you is to get your fastest time with the smallest charts and with the near chart as close as you can. As you progress, we'll work on changing the order and the position of our gaze, maybe starting at the top of column 1 and the bottom of column 10. And this is going to help us to train rapid focus and controlled eye movements. And there are lots of other ways we can work on our processing and hand-eye coordination, and these might be covered in subsequent videos. So for now, I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope to see you out shooting again from a socially responsible distance, of course, and good luck in the quiz. And whoever wins the prize, let me know, and we'll get Vision Training Kit out to you very, very soon. For those of you who don't win, that are desperate to own one, there is going to be a 10% discount on the website, and that's just be using code CPSA 10. Take care. Bye-bye.